Guys, today we're at Pompeii. It's going to be an amazing day. I've wanted to see Pompeii since I was a kid. When I did the Cambridge Latin course at school, we learned about Pompeii because that's where all of the scenarios were set. So I've wanted to see this since I was about 12, and finally here. Trip of a lifetime, literally. So let's enjoy it. Pompeii is loud and crowded, so we're going to do all of this by voiceover. So when you're first going in, what you are presented with is this very long tunnel rising upward as you go in. You can see our tour guide there with holding the flag. He was incredibly knowledgeable. Right? You could not have asked for a better tour guide. He was brilliant. And he was talking about how this is the entrance to the city through one of its main gates. And immediately you can get a sense of what the Romans were going for with this kind of architecture. This shows power. If you want to enter a Roman city, you go through their rules through a big gate, and you are corralled like cattle, essentially. Like, you know your place in a Roman city, and you have a real sense of security if you're a Roman. And for anyone else, this is power. Rome's in control here. That's what it feels like. Then we're presented with this. That big thing with the pillars, that is the Courthouse of Rome. This is a public forum, and all of this would have been multiple colours. You can see what remains of frescoes here. Everything was painted. Everything was wonderful. It looked great back in the Roman times. You can imagine that. But this is an open forum, and it's got the place for the civil procedures, which would have been an open event. It would have been something that people went and watched. It was very interesting. And you've got all these columns. This is all money, power, basically Rome presenting itself as, look at how good our society is. Is yours as good as this? Of course it's not. That bronze statue there, that's not original. One of the things our tour guide told us is once the dust had settled, literally, after the volcano erupted, the emperor sent a few people to recover all of the bronzes, all the statues, all of the stuff like that, and take it to safety. Never mind the people. Make sure that the statues, all the stuff that was important to Rome, is taken back to Rome. Very interesting perspective, as I'm sure you can agree. Speaking of the emperor, that's the temple to the emperor. Not the emperor himself, the emperor as a kind of spirit, as a figurehead, with a ceremonial throne in the middle. Very interesting. Over here we get to see more of the pillars and the frescoes, or what's left of them, and the multiple layers of plaster and all sorts that would have been used to make up these buildings. Rome did things spectacularly, but it also did things, strangely enough, on the cheap at times. You might notice that a lot of these pillars are brick because the plaster's gone. Yeah, they used to make their columns out of brick and then cover them in plaster, limestone if it was cheap, or marble. And that's how they did it, because brick is easy to put together and get into the right shape. Marble, for an entire column, that's going to be pricey. So now we're over in the middle foyer area of a villa, and it has the same architecture that you would see in a cathedral these days, or some of the larger, more open spaces. And this here, that's the very, very cold temperature bath for a public baths. There would be 3 baths, a cold temperature, warmer, and then the hotter. Atlas here is holding up the roof. Everything inside a public baths is spectacularly detailed. This is a bath area. Yes, it's for public sanitation and making yourself clean, but it's also where you'd hang out and socialize. So this place looks brilliant. These are one of the other baths. That would be one of the warmer ones. All of this was covered in frescoes with myth and legend. Stuff like this that we're seeing here now. There would have been pillars through those halls holding up a roof, but everything has imagery on it. Everything is state-of-the-art. You can still see some of the frescoes falling off them and some of the detail work that would have been on the plaster, but it's so amazing. It's like a fake window looking into myth and legend. This is spectacular. Now we're over in a villa. This was where a rich person would live. The Yellow Room, I think it was called. And it's just got amazing paintings everywhere. Detail upon detail. but more importantly, perspective. This is all about art and good, proper art. The type of thing that I was taught when I was studying art as a teenager, that we didn't learn until the Renaissance how to do perspective properly. But here it is, perspective. Wherever you're standing, it looks right, as if you're looking out into street scenes of multiple levels of a forum depicting Roman life. It was stunning. Here, all of this, you can see the perspective, you can see room upon room upon room inside paintings. I'm stunned. I was stunned then, I was stunned now. When I saw this, the red room, it's the red bedroom or something like that, in this one villa. The first thing I said was, wow. And the tour guide said, wow's right. And he's right. This is awe-inspiring. Even back then it would have been amazing. But have you noticed one thing? It's much lighter inside those little images compared to the walls themselves, the ochre yellow, because it's mimicking the idea of looking out into another area. It's mimicking the idea of a window. It's spectacular. This is proper artisanship. And we were told that this didn't happen until the Renaissance. Whoever told us that lied. This is the Temple of Jupiter, the main temple, the key temple for Roman life. And right at the back is a statue of Jupiter, well, a bust, Jupiter's head and shoulders. That'll be shown to the public on major festivals. It's not in its original place. Well, it might be in its original place, we can't be entirely certain, because it's been brought back to Pompeii. It's not an original. And the reason for that is because, like I said earlier, the Roman emperor said, go and get all the important stuff, the bronzes, the statues, and bring them home to Rome. Leave the people are dead. Bring the important stuff back to Rome. Pompeii is one of the most spectacular places I have ever been. It's literally awe-inspiring. If you go to Italy, you've got to see Pompeii. It is that important. It's something that I've wanted to see since I was a child, literally a child. I was studying it at school. It never really felt real until I was actually there. And then all of a sudden it's like, not only is this real, but I feel like part of history. I was standing somewhere that people 2,000 years ago had lived. There were some of the plaster casts of the bodies from Pompeii. They're at the site. Most of them are in a museum in the main city, the modern Pompeii. But there were some at the site, and it was there as a reminder that this is the site of a disaster. It's not just a historical tourist attraction. It's essentially a tomb. And that really brings home what it was all about. And this was a site of a very, very major disaster. And when you see the bodies and the plaster casts of the people as they lay dead, it's very, very moving. Let me put it that way. It's hard to put into words just how the experience hits you, because these were real people. They were people just like us. And the only thing that changed from then to now is time. They wore clothes like us. They're not that different. A lot of people that were there were wearing sandals because it's really hot in Pompeii. And these Romans were wearing sandals. A lot of people were wearing flowing clothes because it's hot in Pompeii. The Romans were wearing flowing clothes. You could still see it in the plaster casts. And it just made it so much more real and so much more hard-hitting, because it could have happened to us. The only difference is that we weren't there 2,000 years ago. The only difference is time. These people were people. They were people like us, ordinary people going about ordinary lives. And that shocked me. I was expecting to see bodies, because of course it's Pompeii. But it shocked me how much it hit home, you know? It's a very moving experience. It's fascinating, but it's very moving. It's very human. It seems like a bad way of describing it, but that's how it was. So guys, if you go to Italy, please see Pompeii, but please also remember, it's the site of a disaster. it's not just a tourist attraction. And I think the majority of people there understood that, because I wasn't the only one who took my hat off in respect when I was near the bodies that were there. And I think that's important as well, that we all show respect, despite the fact that it's a long time ago. It's like, part of me, when I was seeing the people, was like, in another time, would I have called them friend? It became that. It's like, I don't know these people. I will never know them. Of course I won't. We don't know who they are. We don't know who they were. We don't know their names or anything, what they were doing on that day. But we have an idea that it wasn't pleasant, whatever they were doing, because how could it be? Guys, I'll see you tomorrow. If you like the show, please consider supporting me on Patreon. It really does help create future videos. That's patreon.com/Zoe Kirk-Robinson. And I've got an extra special thanks going out to Chief89, Sam Yates, Retro Mickey82, Mo Henry, and George Botterini. Thank you so much, guys.